Alright, I came across this channel that's doing something pretty interesting. Now, as you can guess from the name, they're doing something interesting in the morbid curiosity niche. But before we break down exactly what they do, let's take a look at stats on some of their videos. The two most popular videos have already crossed 1 million views each. Then for the rest of them, you have 800,000, 500,000, 400,000. The numbers on their videos are honestly really encouraging. Even the worst performing video on the channel is already sitting at almost 28,000 views, and that was posted 11 days ago. The interesting thing is that they achieved all of this with a handful of videos in just 8 months of posting. But even the latest video is sitting at 41,000 views in just 24 hours, and the one after that is at 130,000. So there's real audience demand for their style of content, which mostly focuses on the visceral, first-person experience of dying. Yeah, that may seem a bit dark, but what they do is walk viewers through, second by second, exactly what happens to the human body for any specific cause of death. And they're not just throwing out random facts. Everything they reveal is grounded in real physiology, medicine, and forensic science. They answer questions around what it actually feels like to go through a specific kind of death. It's morbid, all right, but the content is doing quite well, and it's keeping people engaged. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create the same kind of content. Now, their content is simple, but a bit tricky. Unlike the usual ones, where you just create topics, script, images, and video, animate them, and then create thumbnails. There's some variations in the way you actually go about this one. So you need to stay with me, especially through the image generation and video editing parts. And as usual, you can access the Google Doc, which contains all the prompts that I'll be using for this video, inside my Discord and school communities. Links to both of these communities will be in the description of this video. Now, obviously, you need a text generator to do this, so we're going to be using Claude. You don't need a paid version. The free version should work just fine. Once you've chosen your text generator, make sure the Google Doc is open, and then copy the first step, which is the topic prompt. Paste it inside Claude, and it should give you a bunch of interesting topics similar to the ones that the channel we're modeling is creating. Go through and choose the one that you want to use for your video. Once you have your topic, it's time to create the script. For that, copy the script prompt from the Google Doc, and don't forget to add your topic. Paste it inside Claude like before, and it'll generate the full script for you. Now, as usual, one thing I always recommend, and I'll say this again, don't use the script exactly as it's given. Use the one that AI has given you as reference, and try rewriting it in your own words based on how you understand. YouTube wants to see real human effort, so putting in the work to create something unique is very key. So make sure you've done this before you proceed to the next step, which is generating the character for the video. The channel actually uses 2 unique characters in their narrations. The first one is the character the channel uses to brand their videos, as well as the channel itself. That's this simple ghost-looking character. It's a very basic line art drawing on a white background. Then they have this other one with a circular head, which they use in their narrations. So they use these 2 characters throughout. You can use your own characters, but I've added a prompt you can use for the first character if you want something like that. Copy this character prompt and then go to Google Flow. Now, I'm going to change the aspect ratio to 3:4 since we're only dealing with a single character, but it doesn't really matter which one you decide to go with. It should work just fine. For the model, Nano Banana 2 or Pro, work just fine. Then save. Now paste the prompt and you should get a simple character that you can use for your videos. If this isn't good enough and you want something different, feel free to prompt Claude to make changes, and you should get some additional options. Once you have the character you want, in this case, I'm going to choose this one. You need to get it to perform different actions. You're going to need the same character in different poses, which you'll save and use throughout every single video you create. Come back to the prompt doc, and here you'll see the actions. I made sure to include a whole bunch of them, but feel free to add more if the ones here aren't enough. Click on the image that you want to make changes to, and paste the command. As you can see, it's maintaining the character's consistency while giving us a new pose in the same position. This image has the character pointing at something. Now let's create one with him pointing up. Then there's pointing downward, explaining with both hands, presenting something, and so on. You'll understand how they're used very soon when we get to editing. Once you're done with the character poses, it's time to move on to the second character. This one is quite straightforward, since it doesn't really need different variations. Simply copy the secondary character prompt, head back to Flow, generate it. In my case, I made it lean towards a near black color for the character fill. But if you want to modify yours, all you have to do is change the color code to something else. This will be the secondary character in your stories. So make sure you've got these generated. Then don't forget to download the various variations for the first character. Once that's done, it's time to actually use them in the image generation. Copy the image prompt, make sure your full script is added, and paste it inside Claude. It'll go ahead and generate all of your prompts in no time. Now, if you look here, you'll see it started with the character lock for the second second character. This contains the character's outfit, which is necessary since the initial character didn't include any clothing. One thing you need to know is that the channel actually uses photorealistic images, but they insert the second character inside that image and move it around, sometimes into 2 or 3 other positions inside the same scene. So that's what we're trying to do. Keep the scene consistent and just move the character around a bit. This is only for the first 1 to 3 minutes of the video. The remainder of the video lean more towards illustrations. For this first beat, we have an empty setting. This is the photorealistic setting for that particular scene. And then from there, this is where you insert the character inside that scene. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to first generate the scene, change the aspect ratio to 16:9, and generate it. Now you need to put the character inside the scene. So what you need to do is add the second character and then bring in the second character prompt. This prompt has everything it needs, including the character's clothing. So paste it in here and see the kind of result we get. As you can see, we have the character standing in the scene. If you feel like it's not good enough, you can always make changes. But the character is in the scene, dressed the way we want. And there's a nice contrast there. The scene is photorealistic, and then it has this strange character in it, which is exactly what we want. You're going to repeat this. The second beat says reuse the setting, so we're using the same setting, just that this time around the character will be doing something else. So let me remove this, and remove the character as well, since the character is already in this image, and that's the one I select. Then let's see the kind of result we get. We have the same character in the same scene, just that the character has moved, and this time he's closer and slightly facing the camera. It's maintained everything, giving you something extremely close to consistency. Come down to the next beat, and you'll see it's the same scene again. So we changed this for the character, and now it's standing and doing something new. Same character, same scene. It maintains everything. It even tells you which beat to use as your reference. Once you have all the images for the first scene, you'll notice beat number 6 is showing a different scene. Generate that one. It's the interior of an old elevator. You can choose the one you want to use. In this case, I'm going to choose this one. Now add the character to the scene using the character reference. For an entire script, you only need about 2 to 3 real scenes with the character moving about, and that's usually at the beginning of the story. So it can be anywhere from half a minute to 2 or even 3. The rest of the narration is done using illustrations. As you can see from beat number 16, going forward, it only has image prompts with no character added, just the image prompt, so you can just copy that. The channel typically includes some form of quiz in their videos, so all of that is added in the prompts. Keep generating the rest of your images normally till you've got the full story covered. Once you're done, download them all onto your computer. For the voiceover narration, use 11 Labs or any other tool that you prefer. Now you can import all of your files inside your favorite video editor, in this case, CapCut. This part is very important, so you need to pay close attention. The first step is to add the voiceover to the timeline. Remove any long pauses you want to get rid of. It depends on how you want your voiceover to flow. If there are parts you don't like, you can always clear them. Once you're done with that, you need to add a plain white background image. And then depending on what's being said, bring in your character. Layer the appropriate ones for the narration to create the illusion of movement. Then select the files and put them inside a compound clip. Now you can scale them down and bring the image somewhere over here. Bring in the initial image for that particular beat and scale it down as well. Set a keyframe at the start of the clip. Go forward to somewhere around here and scale it back up so it fills the entire screen. The result is a simple zoom animation at the beginning. If it's too slow, you can move the keyframe closer to speed it up a bit. It's quite simple. You can smooth out the animation, but it's not necessary. You want it as minimal and as simple as possible. Nothing fancy. Now split the image here and drop the next image on top of the split section to replace it. What happens is that nothing changes in the scene. You get the same scene, except that the character will be changing positions in action. Do the same thing for any scenes like this, especially at the initial part of the video. Now let's play and see how it sounds. Picture this. It's a Tuesday. You're in a 9-story apartment building that smells faintly like other people's laundry, and you're holding a paper bag with a burrito in it that's slowly leaking through the bottom corner. You press the button, the elevator takes forever, the way elevators do. It arrives, doors open, you step in, hit 6. Once you're done with those scenes, bring in your character once in a while, depending on the narration, and repeat what we did earlier. In some cases, you may even need to. Let's say in this case, I'm just going to select this, put them inside a compound clip, and scale it down. I'll leave it in the middle instead of moving it somewhere else. Let's say you want it to reveal something. You want to add a mask, so you go here and add a mask. Hide the first part, split the clip, and delete the mask to reveal the full image. It's up to you to be ingenious with how you want it to flow. For the trivia question, we want the question to show first, depending on the narration. So you add a mask to cover cover the question, at least part of it, until the reveal. So once it says this, then use keyframes to increase it, and depending on what the narration says, you can add the next one. One frame forward and reveal the second one as well. Add a timer animation for the final answer if you want. You can grab something from Vecteezy or anywhere else. I know this involves a bit of work, but the end result is definitely worth it. Bring in the answer image for a simple reveal. Keep this up until you're done with your entire video. Now go to Filters, grab your favorite one and drop it on top of the timeline for the look that you want. Captions are optional, so feel free to skip them. Once everything looks all right, go ahead and export it at whatever resolution you prefer. Just like that, you've got your first video ready to post. I know this niche may not be for everyone, so if you found a niche that you like but have no idea how to model it, check out Heckless. My team created this tool specifically to help reverse engineer any trending faceless niche. We trained it to understand and use similar strategies like the one we just went through to create videos as any reference channel you provide. Heckless is able to understand the DNA of the channel you want to model and generate similar style topics, script, and visuals. It essentially creates the full video using some of the top AI models on the market right now. It even handles the thumbnails. And the best part is that you don't need to be tech savvy to use the tool. It's quite simple. You just click through and choose what you want. Additionally, we've added free perks for starter and pro users, so they now get up to 200,000 voiceover characters each month, completely for free. So, if you've been planning on starting that trending niche, but you've no idea how or where to start, Heckless has you covered. The link will be in the description of this video, as well as the pinned comment. Now, the last step for this style of video is to create the thumbnail. For that, you're going to use the same process as usual. Copy the thumbnail prompt, and don't forget to add the topic and the script. These are very important. Paste it inside Claude, and it will generate 3 thumbnail prompt options for you. Now you can go ahead and use Flow to generate the images. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Thank you, and see you in the next one.